Hello, hello, my beauties and bees. It is time for our week in weirdness, where we look at some of the stranger conspiracy theories and the kind of out there folklore being spread around the internet. And today is kind of a special one because some people know this and some people don't, but and it just may be relevant, it may be irrelevant, you may not even care. But my favoriteest book ever is The Silmarillion. Now, the thing about The Silmarillion is the title of it is actually it's actually made just a portion of what's actually in the book. There's other narratives too, but The Silmarillion, because it's such an important aspect of the folklore of Middle Earth and J.R. Tolkien's world, takes the main title. So what is a Silmarillion? The Silmarillion means basically the story of the Silmarils. And what are the Silmarils? Well, they are three jewels, right? And I'm going to try to run through this folklore really quick for you because I'm not going to spend too much time on the Tolkien verse since, not everybody's a Tolkien fan like I am. But there in the beginning of Middle Earth, there were the gods, the Valar. And they created the world. Basically, they all have elemental powers and created the world of Middle Earth. Then, one of the gods should say goddess. Yavanna was the goddess of nature and trees and stuff, and she created these magical trees in the Western land that gave the world light. Right, this is before the sun and the moon, and when the elves came and stayed in Valinor in the west, they became enamored of the trees. They were in love with the light of the trees. And one of them was a blacksmith named, a jewelsmith named Feanor. Now, Feanor was he was a kind of an asshole of a character. He's a very libertarian character, right? And so he created these jewels that captured the light of both trees within them. And there's three of them. And then the Dark Lord Morgoth was jealous of these jewels and wanted them for his own. And so what he did was he got this giant spider from the south named Ungoliant, depending on how you want to pronounce it, Ungoliant or Ungoliant. But she had like shadow powers. She was Shelob's mom, the big spider from Lord of the Rings. That was her mom. But she helped him sneak into Valinor using her shadowy webs, and she killed the trees. She drank all the light out of them, because that's what she does. She drinks light and belches forth darkness. So she'd killed both of these trees. So now the only place where the light from the trees that was left was in these three jewels, right? So the gods said, before it's too late, we can actually restore the trees if you let us break open those jewels and put the light from those jewels back into the trees. And Feanor, being a staunch libertarian, was said, no, I made these jewels with my own hands, and you cannot have them. And they were kind of aghast because, he made the jewels with his own hands with knowledge he learned from Aeol, the god of the earth, and using the light from Elbereth, the goddess of light, and from the trees of Yavanna. So he used the knowledge of the Valar to create, and the knowledge and the resources of the Valar to create these jewels. But now he refuses to save the world from darkness with them, and being the only one who can. But it didn't matter anyway whether he said yes or no, because Morgoth, the Lord of Darkness, while everybody was confused in the shadows, broke into Feanor's vaults in Fornost, killed his dad, Finwë, one of the elder elves, one of the three elder leaders of the elves, and he took the jewels and fled back to Middle Earth, left Valinor behind. And Ungoliant came with him, and she wanted those jewels for herself. She wanted to eat, and he would not give them to her. So they fought. The Balrogs came and drove her off, and she ran away south and disappeared from the folklore, right? But Feanor, back in Middle Earth, had him and his son swear an oath that they would bring back the Silmarils, retrieve the Silmarils, and return them to the House of Finwë, the Noldor, and anybody who's tried to stop them was an enemy. So this basically put a curse on the gems. And then from there on forward, up until actually the story of the Lord of the Rings is still a continuation of that folklore. But anyway, what does all this have to do with getting weird with it? Well, cursed gems have always been a fascination of mine, and they've always been a fascination of just human society in general, because for some reason we think precious minerals can hold supernatural powers. And this plays very well into our pattern-seeking monkey brains, right? I put together a playlist about some of the jewels that have impacted our timeline with their alleged curses. So I'm going to share that with you guys, and we're going to kind of muddle our way through them. Let's see. Not that. Hold on. Where is you? There we go. All right. There we go. My stuff's all out of order for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on with it. Anyway, let's go. All right, we're going to start with the Black Princess Ruby.
Will this cursed gem bring destruction to the British royal family?
Loud.
Or is the history of this priceless stone just a little spooky? Even if you're familiar with the history of England's crown jewels, you might be surprised to hear that a few of them are rumored to be cursed. For instance, the Black Princess Ruby, which the Royal Collection Trust states...
the royal family is cursed, so yeah.
is the large, irregular red stone mounted on the front cross of Britain's imperial state crown, is known to have a particularly grim history. It is believed that following 1367's Battle of Najera, the ruby made it...
I sort of consider myself a atheo-pagan in a way. Not a Christian witch, but like yeah. Like, I believe that, that we can control our own pathway through proper thought direction. But I digress. I'm definitely an atheist, but my spirit stone comes from Jesus Earth. What? Pattern-seeking monkey brains. I love that. Yes, pattern-seeking monkey brains. That's what we are. Ember. That's what what did Ember say that she was picturing? I missed it. Infinity stones. Okay, yeah.
its way into the hands of Edward, Prince of Wales, aka the Black Prince. It was allegedly a gift from Don Pedro, King of Castile. There's plenty of misinformation about this particular royal treasure. For starters, the Black Prince's ruby is not, in fact, a ruby. The stone is a 170-carat cabochon red spinel that measures nearly 2 inches long. There is a smaller true ruby, however, mounted in gold, plugging a small hole near the top of the stone, a permanent reminder of its time-worn...
Good morning, John Fabiano. Don't steal gems and you won't get cursed. Yeah, that's kind of a good direction to go. Or the stones from the Zelda game, or the Chaos Emeralds from Sonic the Hedgehog, right? All these fictional worlds have magic jewels in them that will give you power. Heck, in the DC universe, the only way to destroy or to defeat a Kryptonian is with kryptonite, which is a jewel. So you got like big kryptonite gauntlets, like Batman did. Yeah, Infinity Stones from Marvel. What else? Drop more magic stones. I'm sure I know that there's that there's magic stones in Discworld. I just can't think of what they are. And then I know there's magic stones in Song of Fire and Ice in that world as well.
As a pendant. The Black Prince's ruby is thought to have been mined in what is now Tajikistan, and it sits above another famous gem, the Cullinan II diamond, called the Second Star of Africa. While the Black Prince's ruby is now a hallmark of the British crown.
Wait a second, is that the pearl that the peregrine pearl? It looks like it, but We'll get to that one later on, trust me.
It has a storied history that begins in India. It was
My Unfinished Tale, thank you so much. Appreciate your $2 donation. Please don't seek patterns. Like and share the stream instead. Absolutely.
recorded in the 14th century as a gem that once belonged to Abu Sa'id, the last Sultan of Granada, who lost the stone along with his life. The gemstone was stripped from Abu Sa'id by Don Pedro the Cruel.
Well, they stole some of them from India. They stole some of them from Africa too. Tsunami says, my mom brought me to see the crown jewels once, and I don't think she realized that England stole them from India and why it was weird to bring me there. Yeah, some of them are from India, some of them are from Africa, but yeah, European colonial powers just stripped all the wealth out of these countries, and then people look at them nowadays and be like, well, look at how poor these countries are. Yeah, because you stole all their resources, all their precious minerals, and all their resources that would have made it possible for them to prosper, and you prospered off of it, and now you're going to disparage them. Intent is everything. I agree, Sandy. I was just talking about you at work the other day, Sandy. I'll message you and tell you more about it, but
the ruler of Seville, Spain in 1366. The story goes that after a series of battles, Abu Sa'id arranged to surrender to Don Pedro in Castile. After being welcomed as guests, however, the Sultan and all of his companions were murdered, and Don Pedro claimed for himself the large red stone he found on Abu Sa'id. It's commonly thought that Don Pedro's confiscation of the blood red stone is what kick-started the gem's curse, bringing bad luck and untimely death to its owners. In fact, Don Pedro soon found himself at war with his brothers before going bankrupt and dying, though he didn't die with the black...
You mean aristocrats who are willing to steal from nations on the other side of the globe might also be willing to steal and murder their own kinsmen for power and wealth? You don't say.
Prince's ruby in his possession. It was Edward of Woodstock, the Black Prince of England, who helped Don Pedro defeat a brother in a contest to rule
Edward of Woodstock better play a hell of a guitar solo with a name like that. Yeah.
Castile. After their victory in 1367, Edward was rewarded by Don Pedro with the same ruby red stone taken from Abu Sa'id. Unfortunately, Don Pedro died just 3 years later, and Edward died before inheriting the English throne. So, the gem passed to Edward's son, King Richard II, who was murdered when he was just 21 years old. At that point, the Black Prince's ruby passed through the hands of several English rulers, who died under tragic circumstances, before being inherited by the Tudors, then the Stuarts. Several rulers may or may not have experienced the curse, including Queen Mary of Scotland.
Sumami's hustling out there. God, I love you, babe. Keep the hustle. Keep the hustle. These are my birthstones, by the way. Ruby, these are actual rubies. I have real rubies, not fake rubies like what are in the crown.
Scotland and Charles I, who were put to death, and James II, who lost the throne and was exiled. Such bad luck has only added to the belief that the Black Prince's ruby might be cursed. Nevertheless, it now enjoys a place of prominence on the British Imperial State Crown and is one of the most recognizable jewels in the entire royal collection. Indeed, in 1919's The Crown Jewels of England, Cyril Davenport and George Younghusband wrote, "The question is often asked, what is the value of the stone? And the answer may safely be given that it is priceless, for no amount of money can buy it."
This should be in a museum!
England's Historic Royal Palace's website tells us that the thought-to-be cursed Black Prince's ruby can be seen as part of the Crown Jewels display in the Tower of London.
All right. Well, I'm just going to auto-play to the next one.
From the appearance of unexpected A-list guests to...
What?
Will this cursed gem bring...
From the appearance of unexpected...
Why are you doing this to me?
Cursed gem bring...
Much less known than the famous Kohinoor or Cullinan diamond, nonetheless, it is one of the most special, majestic and famous diamonds in the world.
Now,
We find its origin in
This is the Regent diamond, which has a sort of similar colonial origin.
India.
You're going to notice a trend, though. India, Africa, India, Africa. Where do diamonds come from?
But one confirmed story about the diamond is it was acquired by the then East India Company's governor of Madras, Thomas Pitt. He is said to have deceitfully smuggled the diamond outside India by hiding it in the shoes of his son, Robert Pitt. It is worth mentioning that Thomas Pitt was a very respected and prestigious person, and his grandson and great-grandson both had been prime ministers of Britain. This diamond found by Pitt made him famous, or rather infamous, not just in his own times, but in all the times to come, and
yes, this is an AI voice. It's the best video I could find that wasn't 20 minutes long on this topic, though, because we got a lot to get through.
earned him the epithet Thomas Diamond Pitt. The sale of this diamond amassed him enough money to make him one of the richest men in Europe and lay and secure the fortunes of his future generations. Upon reaching Europe, Pitt got this diamond cut and polished by the jeweler Harris, who is said to have taken around 2 years to cut this diamond into its present cushion shape. The diamond was reduced to a size of 140.64 carat, which is 28.128 grams. The cutting cost him £25,000, but he made way more than that by selling the secondary diamonds and dust that came out of it. After all, it was a whopping 426-carat diamond originally, and no wonder that many small diamonds would have come out of it, even after keeping a big piece of 140.64 carat. It is said to be first bought by Philip II, Duke of Orleans, the then regent of France, for about $650,000. On his name only, the Pitt diamond's name was changed to Regent Diamond. This diamond happened to be so big and important that it continued to be part of crowns and ornaments of many kings and queens. Its famous wearers included none other than Napoleon Bonaparte himself, who got it embedded in his sword, and it was part of Louis XV, Louis XVI, and King Charles X's coronation crown, Queen Marie Antoinette's black velvet hat, and Queen Marie Leczinska's hat, along with other precious jewels and diamonds, like Sancy Diamond and Hortensia Diamond, both of whom also happened to come from India. Regent Diamond was also stolen during the French Revolution and was found after a long period of about 15 months. After the Regent Diamond was found and recovered, it was loaned out to the Berlin businessman Sigmund Otto Joseph von Triscow and to a Dutch banker in Amsterdam because
I like how, just give it back to the people who had it. This was part of the wealth of the, well, and I'm not trying to stand for the Mughal Empire or anything, but this was part of the wealth of the Mughal Empire. That's why the Mughal Empire fell, because the East India Trading Company stripped them of their wealth, like piece by piece, bit by bit, slowly over centuries until they collapsed.
French economic condition was very bad, and major reason for the historic French Revolution. The money acquired from mortgaging the Pitt's diamond helped bankrupt France to keep its 14 French armies in the field. French armies had...
That's the curse of a diamond right there. You can use to fund wars. Come on now.
many victories after this. Napoleon Bonaparte, after these victories, considered the diamond a good luck charm and decided to wear it in the hilt of his sword. So is the diamond cursed, or it is lucky? It could be considered cursed because Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were decapitated, Louis XVIII was exiled twice and ultimately died childless, Charles X was forced to abdicate the throne and died a horrible death of cholera, and Napoleon died in exile, filled with regret and haunted by a host of painful memories. So, is the Regent diamond cursed? Side.
It more seems like the aristocracy is cursed. Like all of these jewels just seem like the aristocracy and the oligarchy is cursed, which I'm cool with. Curse the oligarchs. That's a way of life for me.
Or it could be considered lucky because it definitely brought immense fortune for Thomas Pitt and for many of his future generations. Napoleon Bonaparte attributed many of the French army victories to this diamond and therefore got it embedded in the hilt of his sword, though it is said that he died terribly. But there is one thing mention worthy, which is, when he was in exile in Elba, his wife carried the diamond to Austria where she took refuge with her son. So, is it possible that he lost finally because the diamond had gone away from him, though the Austrian king had returned the diamond to French treasury, but...
True story, John Hudson says. He died childless because he was so inbred that he was unable to conceive a child. Exactly. That doesn't mean it was cursed. That means a lot of people were willing to die for it, says Rainbow Wrath. Exactly. Evil bastages. FAFO. Yeah, they sure did. This subject is not in my wheelhouse, says John Fabiano. Yes, it's not. There's not a lot of. We can't have everything in our wheelhouse. But yeah, this is basically an ode to colonialism and people thinking, oh, if bad things happen to colonizers, it must be a curse.
The lucky charm was away from Napoleon. Could this have possibly led to his eventual downfall? There could be history associated with this diamond, which we don't know and would never know, but we know one thing for sure. And it's the fact that as colonization begun, diamonds exchanged places. And it's the fact.
What's going on here? That looks hot. Are they all waiting in line to... I'm assuming they're kissing his ring, but it really does look like he's going down on him.
That as colonization begun, diamonds exchanged places, and so does the prosperity and powers. It's impossible to determine the exact value of Regent Diamond. However, according to experts, in 1791, its appraised value was 480,000 British pounds, which is equivalent to 61,420,000 British pounds in 2021. In US dollars, this is equivalent to 76,337,075.40, and in Indian rupees,
that's an expensive rock, I'm not gonna lie.
Will amount to 6,265,872,611.47. Isn't it surprising that so less is known about such special diamond, which has been associated with the rise and fall of empires, and even with an emperor like Napoleon Bonaparte? A diamond so huge and pricey.
There are so many things that could have cursed Napoleon. Are we forgetting that this guy conquered so many countries and oppressed the natives, the native population? Egypt, Prussia, everywhere, like all across Europe, right? The Napoleonic Empire was probably cursed by every little faction of witches from North Africa to East Asia.
Which could fetch money for a country like France to keep going. Do these gems and diamonds really have powers and luck associated with them, as the rich countries like India and South Africa started to come under colonial rule, and European countries would expand their rule and got rich and powerful at the same time? Was it the power of these diamonds that traded place? What is your opinion on this?
Yes, it was stripping the wealth from one continent and redistributing it to another. Yeah, that's true.
Diamonds and other precious stones really hold powers and bring good luck or curses powerful enough to wield significant effect. What are your thoughts on this, and is there anything else about this diamond that you know? Let us know in the comment box. If you like the video, do share with your friends, and it would be great if you like and subscribe to this channel.
All right.
Humble thanks for watching.
What do we got now?
Welcome to Bellneck Curiosity. The Delhi's Purple Sapphire, also known as Cursed Gemstone, is currently kept in National History Museum, London.
Of course it is, because all the wealth of India has to be kept in London. It's the only place where it's safe from the godless heathens of India. Right? Just give it back. Give them back their stuff. Maybe the curse will go away.
Why and how this beautiful purple sapphire became cursed? Let's get straight to the video. Origin of the curse. The history of the Delhi's purple sapphire traces back to the 19th century. In 1857, India was in complete destruction under British rule. Also known as Indian Mutiny or First War of Independence, was a...
It's not a mutiny if it's your own country. It's an uprising, a revolution. But it's not a mutiny. It's a rebellion against oppressors.
widespread rebellion against the British East India Company. During this, India was in complete chaos and Britishers looted many ancient Indian temples. Among them, one of the temple was an ancient temple in Kanpur district dedicated to god of war and thunderstorm.
You're not wrong, Sue. Giving it back to the people instead of giving it back to the Indian government, but that's not actually something we can do. That it can be done, but it doesn't belong in London.
God Indra. The temple had many gold and precious items. One of them was the purple sapphire. The purple sapphire was very precious and beautiful. It was attached to the crown of god Indra. In 1855, a Bengal cavalryman, Colonel W. Ferris, took the purple sapphire from the temple and returned home to his family. Now the curse begins. As soon as he returned home to his family, Ferris began to suffer a series of losses of financial misfortunes which brought the family to the brink of collapse. At first,
Do you think that was maybe because he was a shady person and had shady practices? Him stealing a giant sapphire kind of points to him having shady practices, which generally leads to bankruptcy and loss of funding. But eventually it leads to, from what I understand, it leads to a presidential nomination and a fascist takeover. So yeah.
Ferris blamed his own poor judgment, but when every member of the family also suffered a series of unexplained illness, his thoughts turned to the gem. His fears were confirmed when he lent the stone to a friend of his family and he mysteriously committed suicide. So the gem became very popular after this. An unlikely victim, Edward Heron Allen. In 1890, the gem had come into possession of Edward Heron Allen. Edward was one of the most respected scholars of his time. He was a writer and a scientist. He agreed to accept the gem from Ferris' son to prove that there was nothing special about the gem. Soon after taking the gem, he began to experience a series of unfortunate events. So, to neutralize the curse of the gem, he attached a diamond to the ring, which had double silver-headed snake. He changed the whole look of the purple sapphire with some astrological signs. But after this, the situation only got
So he defaced it because he thought it was cursed. So he thought he'd deface it in order to stop the curse.
worsen. Condition of Edward was becoming worse. He started having daily nightmares where he saw someone with long hair, red eyes and ash on the body. Edward said he looked like an angry Aghori Sadhu who used to sit at the corner of his house staring at him the whole night. Sometimes he saw Aghori Sadhu digging something in the ground as if
Homies having hypnopompic states is what that sounds like to me. Hypnopompic states is like where you dream while you're awake. And it causes you to see things like people have like abduction experiences by aliens, for example, are dealing with hypnopompic state.
he's searching for something. All these experiences have written by Edward himself in his last letter, which is still kept at the museum. The curse awakens. So after the unnatural experiences, in frustration, Edward threw the gem into Regent's Canal. He thought that he got rid of the curse. But some months later, the ring was recovered during cleaning of the canal. It was then taken to a local jeweler. The jeweler
Imagine being the lucky motherfucker who fished that out of the water, though.
immediately recognized the gem as he was the one who mounted the gem on the ring for Edward. So he returned the ring back to Edward. After this failure to get rid of the gem, he again given the gem.
I would not have let the jeweler give it back to Edward. Edward threw it away. Finders, keepers. But yeah, I mean, this is the way to. I guess that's the way to avoid the curse, though, is to give it away to somebody. He just let the jeweler. Like, could you imagine bringing something to an appraiser, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute. I know the guy who owns this. I'm going to return it back to him." No, you can't have it back. When you're the one that found it, obviously the Edward threw it away.
To one of his friends who was a professional singer. But after that, his friend lost his voice in an accident. Fearing that the gem would influence his newborn daughter, Edward packed the gem into 7 boxes filled with good luck charm. He then deposited it in the safe of his bank with instructions for it not to be opened until after his death. The final chapter. In 1944, Edward Aaron Allen died. Despite insisting that the box containing the Delhi's purple sapphire should not be opened for 33 years after his death, Edward's daughter sent the box to the National History Museum. There it stayed until 1972, until a caretaker of the museum uncovered the sapphire and the strange letter enclosed, in which he wrote all his experiences and strongly recommended to throw the gem into the sea. The complete letter,
which is actually what happens to one of the Silmarils at the end of the Silmarillion. So, yeah, maybe that's where Tolkien got his inspiration at. No, because this would have been in the 70s. He wrote the Silmarillion way before that. Was it Maglor threw the Silmarillion into the sea, but this one won't
Edward
get.
Heron Allen is still kept at the museum. Today, this gem is popularly known as Delhi's Purple Sapphire and is kept safely in the National History Museum for public view. Nobody is the official owner of the gem, and it is believed that the curse will end only when it is returned to the temple from where it was looted. I know there was no scientific explanation in this video, like most of my other videos, but some elements are beyond science with no explanation.
I mean, I'm all for saying, hey, it's cursed, return it to the temple just to get it back in the temple where they stole it from. A real purple sapphire might convince me to let go of the idea of happily being single until my death. The bigots are stupid. Massive diversity is so much more fun. They must hate fun too. I'm not sure what's going on there.
That's all in this video, but more interesting videos are coming up. So if you like this video, give a thumbs up and subscribe the channel. Don't forget to click on the bell icon for regular updates.
Okay. Next, the Blue Diamond
August
Affair.
1989. The air hung heavy and hot over Bangkok, Thailand. Inside a palace vault, a thief moved silently. He was after a king's ransom in diamonds and jewels. This was no ordinary robbery. The victim was Prince Faisal, a Saudi Arabian royal. The stolen gems were worth millions.
And this is in the 90s, so this is a more recent one of these events.
Among them was a prize beyond value, a rare blue diamond. The theft made headlines around the world. It wasn't just the value of the loot, this was about power, prestige, and international intrigue. The House of Saud, rulers of Saudi Arabia, were directly involved. The stakes were...
Saudi princes own a lot of these jewels now too. I'm sure that they would buy the entire London Museum if they had the option to. And maybe Modi would sell the Delhi blue sapphire. It's not a sapphire to a Saudi prince. That sounds like something he would do, and just pocket the funding from it. But
were incredibly high. Enter Kriangkrai Tekamung, a Thai worker. He was a janitor at the palace where the jewels were kept. Police quickly suspected him. Tekamung had access to the vault. He was arrested trying to escape the country. Under questioning, Tekamung confessed. He led police to a buried stash. There, they found a cache of jewels. But something was wrong. The recovered gems were fakes. The real treasure, including the blue diamond, was gone. Tekamung claimed he was just a pawn. He said powerful figures were behind the heist. His story was hard to believe, but the missing jewels told their own tale. The theft created a diplomatic firestorm. Saudi Arabia was furious. They accused Thai police of incompetence, even complicity. Relations between the two countries plummeted. Saudi Arabia sent their own investigators to Thailand. But their presence only made things worse. The Saudi investigators were...
You don't say. You come into another sovereign nation and step onto their criminal investigations, and you're going to cause problems. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Heavy-handed. They bullied witnesses and bribed officials. The Thai government was outraged. The investigation stalled, mired in suspicion and mistrust. The stolen jewels and the truth seemed lost forever. The story took a sinister turn in 1990.
It didn't already take a sinister turn? I mean, come on. So far, things are pretty sinister. You have Saudi investigators overstepping their jurisdiction into another country's criminal investigations. Yeah, it's already shit the bed.
3 Saudi diplomats were gunned down in Bangkok. The killings were professional, cold-blooded. Were they connected to the missing jewels? Many believed so. The killings spread fear and paranoia. Then a prominent Saudi businessman disappeared. He was rumored to be involved in the jewelry trade. Had he tried to fence the stolen gems? His fate remains unknown. The murders and disappearance remain unsolved. They cast a long shadow over the case. The Blue Diamond affair was more dangerous than anyone imagined.
The missing
Section
blue
5.
diamond.
The missing blue diamond. At the heart of the affair lies the blue diamond. Its exact value is unknown, but it is priceless.
Its exact value is unknown, but its priceless are incongruent claims. They can't both be true.
Some believe it is cursed, stained by the violence.
I mean, I guess technically you could say, if you say it's priceless, you don't have to say its true value is unknown. Is more what I'm trying to say. But I digress.
Is caused. The diamond's whereabouts are a mystery. Was it smuggled out of Thailand? Is it hidden away in a private collection? Rumors and theories abound. Some say it resurfaced briefly in the Middle East. Others claim it is hidden in plain sight, recut and disguised.
Exactly, AR. Stealing a gem is dumb. You can't sell it to anyone or wear it. Everyone is going to recognize it, and everyone's going to say, I don't want to buy that hot jewel you got on your neck, right? They're going to say, I don't want to buy that. There's Interpol's looking for it or whatever, you know?
The truth, like the diamond itself, remains elusive. Section 6. Whispers of Conspiracy. The Blue Diamond affair is fertile ground for conspiracy theories. Some whisper that the Thai police were in on the heist from the start. Others point fingers at powerful figures within the Saudi government. Did someone inside the Saudi royal family orchestrate the theft? Was it an inside job gone wrong? The rumors swirl, fueled by the lack of answers. The truth, hidden beneath layers of intrigue, may never be known.
Oh, the House of Saud.
Section
Here we
7.
go.
The House of Saud. To understand the affair, one must understand the House of Saud. They are the royal family of Saudi Arabia, rulers of a kingdom built on oil wealth. The House of Saud is vast and powerful. Its members hold immense influence. The theft of Prince Faisal's jewels was a blow to their prestige. It exposed cracks in their carefully crafted image. The House of Saud is in...
Well, if they're really worried about people stealing their jewels, maybe keep them in Saudi Arabia instead of sending them to Thailand. Just a thought.
Intensely private. Their secrets are closely guarded. This secrecy only deepens the mystery of the Blue Diamond affair. Section 8. Global Intrigue. The Blue Diamond affair is a tangled web of international intrigue. It involves royal families, diplomats, and criminals. It stretches from the palaces of Riyadh to the back alleys of Bangkok. The case has strained diplomatic relations and sparked violence. It raises questions about corruption, power, and the price of greed. The global reach of the affair is a testament to the allure and danger of such a valuable prize.
The enduring enigma.
Section 9. An enduring enigma. The Blue Diamond affair remains an unsolved mystery. The stolen jewels have never been recovered. The murders remain unsolved. The case continues to fascinate and frustrate. It is a reminder that some secrets are never meant to be revealed. The Blue Diamond, like a ghost, haunts the memories of those involved. It is a symbol of greed, betrayal, and the enduring power of a mystery unsolved. The case serves as a cautionary tale. It is a stark illustration of the adage, be careful what you wish for, you just might get it.
The Hall of Gems at the American Museum of Natural History in New York houses the renowned Star of India, a world-famous gemstone cherished for its remarkable features. This star sapphire captivates with its extraordinary size, pleasing blue color, and perfectly centered asterism. Weighing an impressive 563.35 carats, the Star of India holds the distinction of being the largest gem-quality blue star sapphire in existence. Estimated to be around 2 billion years old.
Pretty.
This
It's pretty, but yeah, is it magic? Yeah.
precious gemstone is revered as one of the most notable treasures in the world. The origin of the gray-blue star of India can be traced.
You notice how many of these things are coming from India? Just throwing that out there.
Back approximately 300 years to Sri Lanka, where it was believed to have been discovered.
Oh, it's from Sri Lanka, so actually, I guess this would have been India colonizing Sri Lanka and taking their wealth, but I digress.
In the late 19th century, mineralogist George Kunz took on the task of curating a prestigious collection of gemstones for an exhibition at the Paris Exposition of 1900, at the behest of financier J.P. Morgan. The Star of India,
J.P. Morgan, one of our most notable oligarchs,
along with the rest of the commissioned collection, was generously donated by Morgan to the American Museum of Natural History around 1902. Regrettably, little information is available about the gemstone prior to its inclusion in this collection. The Star of India exhibits a milky gray-blue appearance due to the presence of rutile inclusions. These needle-like rutile inclusions, when aligned in...
I want rutile inclusions. How come this Star of India gets rutile inclusions and I don't? There's no good reason for me to not have them. We should share them. The rutile inclusions are for everybody. I don't know what a rutile inclusion is.
Specific directions create mesmerizing stars with 4, 6, or 12 rays. While the most common star sapphires and star rubies have 6 rays, the Star of India stands out with its 6-rayed asterism. This unique star effect can be observed from both the top and bottom surfaces of the gemstone. In October 1964, the Star of India was stolen from the museum, along with over 20 other precious gemstones. The audacious...
Wasn't me. I wasn't even born yet, so don't even point your finger at me. I had nothing to do with this.
Theft involved the perpetrators entering the museum during the day, opening a toilet window, and later accessing the building through that same window at night. Although the Star of India had its own alarm system, it was either malfunctioning or deactivated during the robbery. The thieves managed to gather 22 stones before escaping through the window. The thieves responsible for the theft were caught just 2 days later. One of them...
Let's keep this clear that these are thieves stealing from thieves, right? Thieves stealing from thieves.
Eventually led the police to a bus locker in Miami, where they had hidden the Star of India and some of the other stolen gemstones.
Thank you for watching, and please remember, when you are in doubt, get a lab report.
I'm not sure what that means. Let's go on.
Greetings everyone, and thank you for tuning in to this new video. Today we'll explore the captivating myths and legends surrounding the Modi diamond, the Santi. Known as a true emblem of luxury, diamonds are often regarded as the pinnacle of precious stones.
Another cursed diamond.
Among the world's most opulent diamonds, the Santi stands out. A rare 55-carat gem originating from India, which is believed...
From India again? Who would have thought?
...to have made its way to Europe around the 15th century. It is in 1476 that...
Right-handed Jedi, how do you... Or right-handed Jedi, right-handed Sith, how do you know about my TARDIS?
This diamond will go down in history when Charles the Bold will buy it from a Flemish broker called Louis the Bergamo. Since then, this magnificent diamond would also carry...
That's the second time we've had Flemish come up, too. This is the Flemish episode of the show.
...a curse, and this curse would take all its owners with it, starting with Charles the Bold. He was killed on a battlefield in 1477, and his body was not found for several days. He was torn apart by animals before his body was found. And no one knew where the diamond had gone, whether it had been stolen or just disappeared. No one really knows what happened to the diamond for many, many years. However, we find its trace in 1570, when King Henry III was stabbed. It will be discovered that he wore the famous cursed diamond around his neck. Henry IV was assassinated.
Oh, and I mentioned this in the Roanoke video that we just did. I hate these collars so much. Like they ruin the whole aesthetic. Yeah, no, Henry, no, bad.
A few years later, but the curse doesn't stop there. Back in France, Louis XVI wore it on his feast day, while Marie Antoinette wore it during numerous celebrations at Versailles. What is known...
It's funny because Marie Antoinette's owned a couple of these cursed jewels so far. Yeah, she really ate the cake on this one.
...is that the royal couple was guillotined, and the king's sister was also guillotined. King Louis XVI disappeared under mysterious circumstances. To finish him, Diamant will be worn by the Duke of Berry did not believe in the same fight, but he ended up having his throat slit a few years later. And let's not forget the famous Maharaja. He fell into madness after acquiring the diamond. Then his whole family will end up committing suicide one after the other as well. Since the beginning,
That's a cultural thing though, right? Like a honor, like they were dishonored, so they committed suicide. Not like a... I mean, maybe I'm wrong, if somebody knows better than me, but like and it also sounds like there's been a history of family mental illness. Maybe. I want to put one of my fat cats and call her, I want to put one on my fat cat and call her the queen. Yes.
There are about 20 deaths related to this evil diamond. He would not have spared any of his most famous owners, so we decided to bring him back to Le Loop in 1976. He is set to join the Royal Crown Jewels to put an end to this grim curse. Yet, has the Sansi's curse truly been lifted, or is it just a matter of time before...
Hold on. Yeah. Sith or Jedi? This one's actually mine. This one's Ben. I just haven't given it to him yet. I'm a Sith. I'm the queen of the Siths. I'm actually one of those witches. What are the witches of... are they still canon after Disney? The Force-sensitive witches? I can't remember what the planet they're from is called, but...
This magnificent display ceases to guard us against its unfortunate destiny. Only time will reveal the answer. This brings us to the conclusion of the video. I hope you found it enjoyable. Please share any myths or figures you'd like me to cover in the comments section. Additionally, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Until we meet
like,
again
share,
in
and
the next
subscribe my video.
let's kick on fire.
Where I look at all these different people
Do you
making
believe
claims.
in curses? Some people might say that cursed jewelry is nothing more than a superstition. But there are plenty of stories out there to suggest that cursed jewelry exists and that it brings very...
Yeah, correlation does not equal causation. That rich, conniving people tend to meet ill fates is not a surprise to me.
very bad luck to those who own those pieces. Can a pearl destroy marriage after marriage of its owners? La Peregrina, also known as the Wanderer or the Pilgrim, is the most famous pearl in the world, measuring in at more than 55 carats. It's an exquisite pear-shaped pearl that's renowned for its perfect symmetry. Hi
It is beautiful.
guys, welcome to my channel. It's me, your host, Dr. Sene, and I did some research and reading about the La Peregrina pearl, and I'd like to share with you some of the things I found out. There's a belief in the world that this pearl is cursed. The pearl has a history of 500 years and is notorious for being cursed. Owners of the pearl have suffered through sad lives, bad marriages, and tempestuous times in history. Guys, I thought of summarizing what I read
Thank you, Dee. I've been working on my butt.
about the dark history of La Peregrina. La Peregrina was originally found off the coast of Panama in the mid-16th century. The popular story claims that an African slave in the Spanish colony of Panama discovered it in 1513. And it was
Like blood diamond style, right? Like cracking, they have them cracking open clams for pearls, and they don't get to keep the labor of their work. It's the exploitation of the labor, which we still do to this very day.
so impressive and beautiful that the slave was freed as a reward. There is no proof to back up this story about the pearl's discovery. However, what is said is that the pearl was turned over to Don Pedro de Tamez, who was the administrator of Panama at the time. Tamez gifted the pearl to the future king, Philip II of Spain, who in turn presented it as a gift to his bride, Queen Mary I of England, in 1554. Guys, now Queen Mary was notoriously known as Bloody Mary. She was a staunch Catholic and
Look what we have here. Another member of the British aristocracy coming into possession of a valuable jewel from a colonized country.
During her reign, more than 200 Protestants were burnt at the stake for refusing to become Catholics. The marriage between Queen Mary and Philip of Spain was very difficult and unpopular also among the public. So we probably see the curse working here. Moreover,
or arranged marriages just suck and people just shouldn't.
The attraction between Philip and Mary was very one-sided. Mary was said to be very attracted to Philip, but Philip, who was 10 years younger, did not feel the same way. In one strange instance during the marriage, Mary experienced a phantom pregnancy. While the nation started celebrating the would-be birth of Mary's baby, the reality was that there was no baby. Philip eventually left Mary. He had mistresses both in England and Spain, but Mary was loyal and continued to love Philip. Just a few years later,
We can't really know whether she loved him or whether she loved being royal, but regardless, this was a common thing back then for royalty to have fertility issues due to a history of inbreeding, which was mentioned in the side chat by whom earlier, but I can't remember who said something, but my chat's pretty smart. So, so fertility issues were quite common, and it may not have been Mary that had the fertility issue. It may have been Philip that had the fertility issue. We don't know for sure.
later, Mary would die, and Philip would go on to marry twice. When King Philip II of Spain died, La Peregrina was paired with a famous diamond and made into a brooch. The pearl became a part of the Spanish crown jewels. La Peregrina remained as a part of the Spanish crown jewels for 250 years. It was worn for important events by queens of Spain. Queen Margaret of Spain wore the pearl in the early 1600s for a celebration of the peace treaty between England and Spain. Guys, I read about how bad luck hit her, and she died at the age of 26 while giving birth.
Bad luck hit yet another aristocrat who is living off the backs and labor of the populace by exploiting the people, and then bad things happen to them. And I'm supposed to feel bad?
To her youngest child, Alfonso. After her time, the pearl passed on to Queen Isabel. Isabel was known for having an affair with her gentleman-in-waiting.
Of course, yeah, it had to be the woman's fault, Maya. What am I thinking? It couldn't have been Philip. All the royal men were just virile and fertile. It was clearly the woman's fault.
Her lover was later murdered. After the death of Queen Isabel, who had a sad life, the pearl was given to Queen Mariana. Guys, I read about...
It's so weird to say that these royalty have a sad life. Nobody living... People in living in privilege don't know what... And I'm the same. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm living in privilege here. I'm being able to talk to you all every Saturday morning with my 3-monitor system, and yeah, I do live in a privileged position. I don't want to say that I don't have my own privileges, but at this time, with the wealth disparity of the Middle Ages, it's hard to say someone had such a sad life.
Mariana also having a very difficult life.
You think that Bloody Mary had maybe endometriosis or ovarian cyst? That's a possibility.
With 3 of her children dying and the remaining 2 children suffering from physical disorders as a result of inbreeding.
Oh my gosh, why have you both here? Maya, Ryan, I wanted to do the telepathy tapes and watch some of them with you guys on a stream coming up soon. Getting you both in the same place has been... we could do a group chat and Discord. So that's cool. Let's do that, because I really want to do that. It'll be fun.
After Queen Mariana's death in 1696, the pearl seemed to have disappeared from history until it appeared again in 1813 during the invasion of Spain by Joseph Bonaparte. Napoleon's brother Joseph Bonaparte.
Well, I don't want to do it on Sunday. Then Saturday, we could do it on a Saturday. We could do it on a weeknight too, though. I'm fine with that. If we do it on a weeknight, Monday and Tuesday should both be all right. Yeah.
Became the king of Spain in 1808, and the La Peregrina came into his possession. He suffered defeat. When he fled from Madrid during his defeat at the Battle of Vittoria in 1813, he took the pearl with him.
Y'all want to do it on the 1st? We'll do like an telepathy tapes on April 1st, like a April Fool's kind of thing. You want to? Yeah, I'll message you guys.
And gave it to his nephew, Napoleon III, who was in exile in London. Napoleon III faced financial trouble, so the pearl seems to have given every one of its owners very bad luck.
Causation, correlation, what's the difference really? They're the same, right?
Guys, due to his financial issues, Napoleon III sold the pearl to an aristocratic English family, the Duke of Abercorn. During the Duke's possession, the pearl got lost at least 2 different times, once in Windsor Castle and the second time in Buckingham Palace. La Peregrina was auctioned at Sotheby's, London in 1969. Famous Hollywood actor Richard Burton bought the pearl for $37,000 US for his wife Elizabeth Taylor as a remarkable and one-of-a-kind Valentine's gift.
And of course we all know about Liz Taylor, right? Her multiple marriages and such, which were clearly caused by her owning an irritated sand grain from the inside of a clam. That's what caused her marriages to end. If she didn't wear that sand grain that was coated in like calcite, right, from a clam, then she would not have had bad marriages. Clearly, checks out.
Burton and Taylor adored the La Peregrina. Elizabeth Taylor has written in her memoirs that once her cherished pearl had been chewed by her puppy. She says, "I just casually opened the puppy's mouth, and inside his mouth was the most perfect pearl in the world."
So, Sumami, can't you send your crows to carry some Wi-Fi over to our Sith Lord? I mean, makes sense to me. Crows can carry Wi-Fi, right?
It was, thank God, not scratched. Her words. Elizabeth Taylor loved the pearl and wore it many times, and it's believed that the curse of the pearl even affected her own marriage with Richard Burton. Elizabeth and Richard lived a lavish and extravagant life, but they both had a drinking problem and would fight tumultuously throughout their marriage. They were given the nickname the Battling Burtons. Their fights were seen in both public and in private. There is a belief that the fights became worse and violent, and their problems rose to a height after she started wearing the La Peregrina pearl. The fights were so legendary that fans of the couple...
And yeah, we are running a 3-hour show today. So, we do have a full 40 minutes left still.
...would even pay to hear them fight. Their fighting involved TVs being broken in hotel rooms and the rooms being trashed. Elizabeth became intensely addicted to pills, while Burton resorted to uncontrolled drinking and having affairs. They were divorced in 1974, only to remarry in 1975 and divorce again less than a year later. According to numerous researchers whose views I read, the Burton's life became unbearably miserable.
A 3-hour show. Usually I run about 2.5 hours, but there's a lot to cover today.
Due to the curse the pearl had brought on them. Elizabeth Taylor treasured the pearl until her death in 2011. Later that same year, Christie's Auctions sold the pearl for more than US dollars 11,800,000 to an anonymous buyer. So, guys, despite the curse of La Peregrina, it probably never ever will lose its value.
The most expensive grain of sand on Earth.
Don't you think?
That's it from me tonight, guys. See you again soon. Good night.
I don't care about jewelry. Also me. I don't... I'm not dating you unless you present me with Liz Taylor level jewelry, boys. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta set your own standards, right? No one can tell you what you accept from a partner. What we got here? Ooh, the Black Orlov diamond now. Orlov. Not to be confused with Orlok, the vampire from Nosferatu.
Often mistaken to be black in color, the hypnotic deep gunmetal tones of this legendary black diamond struggle to
We're not
hide
listening
the
to that normal
reflections
speed.
of a very dark past, beginning with a theft from a Hindu idol and resulting in no less than 3
Another diamond stolen from India. Oh, what a surprise. What a surprise.
mysterious suicides. The Black Orlov diamond, also known as the Eye of Brahma diamond, weighed 67.50 carats and was once part of a much larger uncut 195-carat diamond, which can be traced back to 19th century India. Legend has it that the uncut stone originally featured as...
How many of these jewels have been stolen from India now, for anybody keeping score?
one of the eyes in a statue of Brahma, the Hindu god of creation, which stood in a shrine in the southern Indian city of Pondicherry. It is believed...
Literally stolen from a shrine? Like, half of these jewels have been stolen from shrines in India by Europeans. Right? And then we're like, oh, people will be like, oh, India's so poor and trashy of a country. Well, stop stealing all their stuff.
Believe that the diamond was stolen from the statue by a traveling monk, after which it became cursed. Whilst many are skeptical about the existence of such a curse and its beginnings are thought to be little more than folklore, the journey of the diamond from here is still an interesting one that is shrouded in mystery, drama and death. In 1932, the diamond found its way to the United...
It sounds like these people are just assholes who are getting bad things happening to them so far. Almost everybody's been a thief so far, so... I mean, maybe being a thief is what's the curse, not owning the diamond.
States, imported by a European diamond dealer named Mr. J.W. Paris, who was in search of a buyer. Little is known about J.W. Paris, but within a week of arriving in New York he had sold the diamond, and shortly thereafter, on April 7th of that same year, he made his way to the top of a Manhattan skyscraper in the heart of Fifth Avenue and jumped to his death, becoming what some say to be the first known victim of the diamond's curse. It is rumored...
Did he say anything about the diamond being the reason he committed suicide? Usually people don't commit suicide over trading rare gems. There's usually something more going on in their life.
That J.W. Paris had been suffering from extreme anxiety due to business worries, and that 2 letters were found in his possession at the time of his death. One addressed to his wife and the other to a fellow jeweler, but no details regarding the content of these were ever made public. Going back to the turn of the 20th...
Well, I mean, who are you showing us here? Because you're jumping off the skyscraper, right? So he wasn't during the powdered wig era in North America. I know that there's still certain judicial branch people in the UK who still to this day wear the powdered wigs, but people weren't wearing powdered wigs in this side of the Atlantic during the days of skyscrapers.
20th century, the diamond was in the possession of a Russian heir named Princess Nadia Vitan Orlov. The source of the black diamond's name, which was bestowed after a much later incident from where the legend is born. During the 1917 Russian Revolution, Princess Nadia fled Russia to the safety of Rome, Italy, as did many Russian royals at the time.
That sounds right. That sounds right, yeah. The aristocrats fleeing the revolution of the people. Yeah, good.
Later, December 2nd, 1947 to be precise, some 15 years after the tragic death of J.W. Paris, when Princess Nadia leaped to her death from a building in central Rome, in what was believed to have been a suicide. At the time of her...
But she could have been thrown, right? Nadia could have been thrown off that building. A lot of people who leap to their deaths as part of Russian revolutions are not leaping on their own accord.
Her death, the princess was the wife of a Russian jeweler, but little more is known about the circumstances of her death. Only 1 month previous to Princess Nadia's death, another member of Russian royalty, Princess Leonila Viktorovna Beryatinsky, had leaped to her death, in what again was believed to have been a suicide. At the time of her death, Princess Leonila was married to Royal Navy officer Prince Andrei Glinstein, but no further details are available about her life at the time of her fatal jump, although it was later discovered that previous to her death she had been the owner of this now infamous precious stone, the Black Orlov diamond.
So this is like the Black Orlov diamond that's going to make everybody jump off of tall buildings? Like what? The correlation causation argument, I can keep beating on that like a dead horse, but surely you guys are picking up on it by now.
Along with the Black Orlov, a second diamond was said to have haunted the Orlov family, one which went on to be known as the White Orlov diamond. The White Orlov was a 180.60 carat white diamond, which was passed on to Catherine the Great by her secret lover, Count Grigory Grigorievich Orlov.
Speaking of folklore and legends, Catherine the Great, y'all.
At the time, Count Grigory was thought to be completely infatuated by the Grand Duchess Catherine and had given the diamond as a symbol of his devotion to her, with a desperate hope to steal her away from her husband, Emperor Peter III.
Peter the Third, Peter III. Peter III! Well, Peter III, please stand up. Please stand up.
The diamond had been accepted, Count Grigory plotted the assassination of Peter III, elevating Catherine to the position of Empress of Russia. She was later known for being the longest ruling female leader of the country. But things didn't end well for Count Grigory, and he was spurned by Catherine. Grigory left Russia, but struggled to deal with his unrequited love for the Russian leader, and in 1781 Count Grigory returned home, where he went insane and died in Moscow the following year.
That's weird. Can you just die from insanity? I've never heard that before.
In the 1950s, an attempt was made to finally break the curse when the diamond was recut by an Austrian jeweler, at the request of its then owner, Charles F. Wilson. The cutting itself took 2 years, but it was deemed a successful venture in terms of shedding the precious stone of its demons. The diamond...
You're right, Maya. Maya. Oh my gosh, are you clairvoyant? Diamond demon. Diamond demon.
Has since passed through the hands of several private dealers, none of whom seem to have been affected by the curse. The 67.50 carat Black Orlov currently sits in a 108 diamond brooch, suspended from a 124 diamond necklace, and has even made an appearance at the Oscars, when it was worn by actresses Felicity Huffman, star of the hit TV series and movie Desperate Housewives.
Did she die though? What happened to the Desperate Housewife? All right. I think we got one more. And it's the one that I know y'all been waiting for.
Hello and good day. Today we discuss a haunting story. Let's begin. Some say jewels are priceless, not just for their beauty, but for the tales.
Here it is.
And then there's the Hope Diamond, a dazzling blue gem steeped in mystery
the
and
Hope Diamond.
Curses. Kings have worn it, collectors have coveted it, and misfortune seems to follow wherever it goes. What is it about this shimmering stone that has captivated and terrified people for centuries? Is it simply a marvel of nature, or is there truly a dark force, embedded within its
I know some of you all said you've seen the Hope Diamond in person, so that's pretty cool.
glittering facets. Our journey begins in the dusty, sun-soaked mines of India in the 17th century.
That's your engagement
Hidden
ring?
deep within the earth, a magnificent blue diamond the size of a walnut and unlike anything seen before was unearthed from the Kollur mine. Its vivid color, a deep ocean blue, immediately set it apart from any other gemstone. The diamond was sold to the French merchant and adventurer Jean-Baptiste Tavernier. Tavernier, captivated by its mesmerizing hue, purchased the gem and made his way to the glittering court of King Louis XIV of France. There, the diamond was recut and polished into a dazzling 6-7 carat masterpiece, known as the French Blue. The king himself adored
the French Blue. The French Blue?
gem, wearing it proudly as a symbol of his wealth and power. But the Hope Diamond story was only just beginning, and so too were the whispers of a curse. The diamond's dark reputation grew over centuries, fueled by the misfortunes that seemed to befall those who possessed it.
Doom, doom, doom.
One of the earliest and most famous cases involves King Louis XVI and Queen Marie Antoinette of France.
That bitch again. This is the third piece of cursed jewelry that Marie Antoinette has owned from this list so far. Seems like she's just collecting them like Pokemon cards. Maybe maybe she collects all the cursed jewels and she puts them in her gauntlet. Then she can snap the French Revolution out of existence.
The diamond was part of the French crown jewels during their reign, but as political unrest gripped France, the royal family met a grim fate. Both Louis XVI
Don't tempt me with a good time, Ryan.
and Marie Antoinette were executed during the French Revolution. While there is no concrete evidence linking the diamond directly to their downfall, the coincidence fueled its ominous reputation. The gem disappeared during the chaos of the revolution, only to resurface decades later. It had been recut to disguise its identity and was eventually acquired by Henry Philip Hope, a wealthy British banker, lending the diamond its current name. Although the Hope family enjoyed financial prosperity for a time, they eventually faced significant financial troubles, leading some to believe the diamond had brought them ruin. In the early 20th century, the diamond made its way to the United States.
The security around the jewels is more interesting than the jewels themselves. When you at the museum, yeah, I bet it is. Yeah. Right-handed Seth. Okay, you can suck up to Maya all Sunday nights. This morning you're supposed to be sucking up to me, right?
States, where it was purchased by the eccentric socialite Evelyn Walsh McLean. McLean famously dismissed the idea of a curse, even letting her dog wear the diamond on occasion. However, her life was marked by a series of personal tragedies. Her son died in a car accident, her daughter succumbed to a drug overdose, and her husband's business ventures collapsed. Ultimately,
So what if what if one of your kids is in a car accident and dies, and your husband loses their jobs, and you don't have a cursed diamond? Then what? What caused it then?
leading to his institutionalization. While these events may not have been directly connected to the
Love you,
diamond,
Maya.
they added to its ominous lore. These stories of misfortune, while compelling, often rely on a blend of fact and folklore. The Hope Diamond's association with tragedy has been exaggerated over time, but its storied past continues to captivate and intrigue. What could explain the dark cloud that seemed to hover over the Hope Diamond's owners? Some say it's all mere coincidence, a string of unfortunate events given undue significance. Others point
Right, undue significance. Yes, you hit the nail on the head for every single gem that we've looked at right now. The fact that a lot of these were gems that were owned by the same people or same groups of people is pretty telling that it's just correlation.
to the stone's origin. According to legend, the diamond was plucked from the eye of a sacred statue of the Hindu goddess
Oh, that's true. The library's not open on Sundays. Well, some libraries are.
Sita. Enraged by the theft, the priests are said to have placed a curse upon the gem, ensuring that no one who possessed it would find happiness. Skeptics dismiss such tales, attributing the diamond's reputation to folklore and sensationalist storytelling.
Right, just like the curse of King Tut or anything like that, yeah.
But even without a curse, the sheer value and notoriety of the stone have undeniably brought danger and intrigue.
I want Kegel diamonds. Everybody send me Kegel diamonds. I will buy you bags of charcoal, and you can send me Kegel diamonds.
In 1958, famed jeweler Harry Winston donated the Hope Diamond to the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C. The transfer of the gem was dramatic in its simplicity. Winston shipped it via ordinary registered mail, encased in a plain brown paper package.
You're right. I have all the sexiest people in here, D. Like, my whole chat is like it's like a runway model show, right?
By the humble delivery method, the gem arrived safely at its destination, sparking excitement and curiosity among museum staff and the public. Once placed on display at the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History, the diamond quickly became one of the institution's most popular exhibits. The Hope
is that how it looks in its display case now?
Diamond's presence at the museum marked a shift in its reputation. No longer a private possession entangled in stories of personal tragedy, it was now a public treasure, admired by millions without apparent consequence. Over the years...
Kegel diamonds? You mean kidney stones? No, you take a lump of coal, and you insert, and then you do your Kegels until you crush it into... the pressure crushes it into a diamond.
The Smithsonian has reported no unusual incidents associated with the gem. Scientists have conducted studies to understand the diamond's unique color and composition, further demystifying its allure. The decision to house the diamond in a secure and public environment may have finally severed any lingering ties to its supposed curse. The Smithsonian's display of the...
Can't believe y'all don't know about Kegel diamonds. How do you think that I've made my fortune?
Hope Diamond has transformed it from a symbol of misfortune to one of wonder and education. It stands as a testament to human fascination with beauty, history, and the mysteries that gems like this carry. Today, the Hope Diamond remains one of the most famous and valuable jewels in the world. Its deep blue color and storied past continue to captivate gem enthusiasts and historians alike. Whether you believe in the curse...
You can request custom shapes, D, but no promises.
...or dismiss it as myth, one thing is undeniable. The Hope Diamond holds a unique place in history, shimmering with beauty and mystery. So, the next
time... maybe we should get rid of the Hope Diamond out of our country so that it stops being cursed, because, yeah, we've slipped into fascism.
And you find yourself admiring a precious gemstone. Remember, sometimes beauty comes with a price. And this concludes today's story. I hope that you enjoyed this cussing tale, and thank you for spending your time here with me. Let me know in the comments, and remember to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the next unsolved mystery. Until then, stay curious, stay thoughtful, and I'll see you in the next story.
All right, so let's go back through. We've covered the Black Prince Ruby, the Regent Diamond, the Delhi Purple Sapphire, the Blue Diamond Affair, the Star of India Sapphire, the Sancy Diamond, the Peregrine Pearl, the Black Orlov Diamond, and the Hope Diamond. So lots of diamonds, and I do see that diamonds kind of top the scale on the poll here, with 57% saying diamonds are the most cursed, which I think is the right answer. But the pearl, the Peregrine Pearl, gets a special place on the list because of its association with Liz Taylor, of course, and ruining her marriages. As far as rubies and sapphires, they'd made a minor appearance. But no, actually, rubies didn't make an appearance because the one ruby we have on the list, the Black Prince Ruby, isn't even a ruby. It's a spinel. Regardless, what do you all think? Can jewels carry curses? Oh my gosh, why am I all blurry again? Fix it. I'll fix it. Hang in there. There we go. So, what do you think? Can a diamond curse a person? Can a pearl carry a hex? Right? What about rubies? What about sapphires? What about amethysts? Can these precious stones cause aristocratic bloodlines to suffer and die? We can only hope. But you let me know in the comments down below. Please remember to be kind, take care, and we will see you next time.